We got this hammer copper water balls. Michelle is gonna come over here and plumb them. We have a water feature right there in the center, and then we have this. This is gonna spill water into this basin, and then we have 5 spillways into the spa. Looking into the house to go check Mark. How's he doing with his tile? The music, like always. Don't ever walk under a ladder indoors. That's a bad luck thing. This is the master, the artistic, the Leonardo da Vinci. A little different music on the outside. You can use like let's say that you have half A and half B, right?
Yeah.
So you can only put half A and A together,
yeah.
So then you can have one line.
One side is all A and one side is B. I think I've actually
Something like that.
I know exactly what you're talking about, where we'd have to. So we've done that when we cut tiles. When you cut tile in half, basically, you always do end up with one that's smaller than the other one. You would stay with all one side. You have to keep them separated. But that actually would solve that issue, because this side would always lock in with this side.
Yeah.
This side would always lock in with this side, but they don't lock in together.
Yeah.
So we would have to say, oh, this is this side, oh, this is this side, until we get to a corner wall, and then we don't worry about it.
Yeah, you don't worry about removing that piece or
We
anything.
end up just getting cut.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense too.
Okay.
That's the answer to our $1 million question.
That way you don't need to do a bunch of extra minimal tiny little work for each square feet.
Yeah, that'll work perfectly. That's our problem.
Yeah.
Our problem solved. So now my next thing is, I gotta go measure how high that spot is.
What we're trying to figure it out is zero waste, so we got it sorted out. So that's gonna be a cool finish, because we're gonna have the plaster coming up to the hexagon side, so it's not gonna be a straight line, it's gonna be a hexagon side, so it's gonna look pretty good. ¿Qué pasó? Parece sicario usted. Parece sicario. Mire, no, ya sentí que me iba a secuestrar ahorita. Ah, ya llegó la ley. Ya vino el inspector. You know, even though we know all these lines that I just painted are gonna get erased and whatnot, I always like to do this. Whoever you talk to that does any type of construction, this is the best thing to do. So that way, this is gonna be our notes of having this drain pipe is coming from the laundry room whenever they have an overflow. So we're gonna put a pipe that is gonna go down the hill and it's gonna go to daylight, and then here is a space where they're gonna put the trash cans. So instead of having all this slope down that way, what we're gonna do is just put a drain right here, the crates. It's gonna take all the water out on a bigger pipe, and it's gonna send it to daylight as well. I don't know how much rain are we gonna get in there, but that makes it easier on the guys. That way everything is just sloping this way. Here we're gonna have a curve. So again, rule of thumb on my end is I always do this, but I always tell the guy, do not assume this is 100% accurate. Why? Because I had just an issue with somebody doing excavation work. And if you look over here, My line is not perfectly straight. It's kind of curved. I just hand drew it real quick. He has the plans. He has the measurements. He has every piece of information that he needs, and he decides not to read that, not to look at it, and not blame me, but telling me I just excavate where you painted. And I was off for like a foot. Yeah, I have those. I have one of those from this one, from this outer level.
Yeah.
I have one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, skimmer is it's not 100%. It's level. It's never gonna be. Yeah, I have all these in a box. Yeah, it always gets lost.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
it's one of the first things on site, and they always people fucking
Yep.
yeah, corners
That's good. Yeah.
rendered flat.
I just pick up this. This is our step one for waterproofing. This liquid is almost like water. The guys will spray it. I'm over here when Mark is working. So once he's done doing all his mud, all his straight lines for the tile, this thing has to be sprayed. And what it does is, you can see here that you can also use it on driveways, sidewalks, walls, and of course it says here pool shells. And it helps prevent the efflorescence, and also this is going to be helping for if we have the wall, a tall wall on the back of the pool, this is going to prevent from any water to start seeping out in between the pores of the gunite. I'm going to show this on the very back how it'll go. I'm over here looking for a grout for the pool where Mark is working out right now. So I got this bright white and frosty. This one is a little bit more gray. I think I'm gonna go with this bright white, even though the tile has like a grayish tone. I'm trying to look at it from different angles, under the light, around the light. So still, I think this one is gonna be the best option. The problem here is, even though that we have our selection, which I have a few samples over here, you find the one that you like, and then, of course, bright white. Now, you gotta find it. And if they don't have it, then you gotta find the store that has it. So, I think the step one is already completed. Selecting the one that we like, or that I like, that I think is gonna look the best. And now the second task is trying to find, this is the frosty, which is the other option. Let's see, that's I guess the way they have the numbers: 44, 45, 46. So this one is 44, so 44 bright white. So we have one. They have plenty of them, so that way I need to figure out how many buckets we need. The cool thing about this is an epoxy, and it's submergible rated, so we don't need to worry about any warranties or anything like that. So I would never use anything like that. I would never use anything like that. You see people getting cheap. Look at the difference on this. $20 for a bag. This little bucket over here, $109. And that's a problem. People will go cheap. You don't know what kind of contractor you get, and they'll do whatever they have around to make it look nice and finished. By the time that you're there, the same with this. We have this tin set, which is the one that we're using for, or that we use for the front porch, the other sample, the black front porch. Look at the difference. $10, $11. For our pool tile, where Mark is, we use 254 platinum. Look at the difference on the price. So for the same price, you get 3 of those bags than for this one. So that's the reason why you gotta know what you're doing and you gotta know how the person doing the work is doing the work. That way they're not telling you, oh yeah, this is okay, this will work, blah blah blah, whatever, and then 5 years, 10 years later, everything is just crumbling apart. I seen other channels for people doing concrete work, construction, HVAC, plumbing, but the whole thing for the pool building industry is not there. I know this issue right now that I'm gonna share, or I'm gonna vent. It's not just for pool builders, it's in construction in general, but it goes to the general contractors. And why sometimes certain things don't happen. So I came to a Floor & Decor to meet a lady so we can go over some materials. And you're gonna see it on the video where I am bringing some tile so I can also look for grout colors for the tile where Mark is working at. So I'm waiting 30 minutes and the lady is not there yet. And then even though that I sent her the address of the store, she went to a complete different store. So she's at a complete different store, and then I have Mark calling me, telling me that the spa is out of square. So it's, in other words, it's not 100% square, which means is one side or two sides could be longer. And then I got a text from Danny at the other job site telling me, I'm gonna be done with the plumbing, I'm gonna need to collect a check. Well, in my experience, I cannot just give the money out like that. I need to go over there, I need to inspect everything, I need to make sure that whatever is on the blueprints, whatever we discuss and agree, is there, and I can pay him. Or at least, you know, if everything is okay, give ourselves a little room before telling us that you need money right now. And the reason why, and I always tell the guys, give me days, because what? Not everybody is paying on time on our customer end. Not everybody is giving us money, because the same way that I want to make sure that everything is right, homeowners and general contractors building homes want to make sure everything is all right. So they're not going to give you just the money because you say you're done. And then I still need to go back to check on Benjamin to see how he's doing on the application of the sealer, because he's doing that. He has a notion of what it needs to be done. I told him what it needs to be done, but at least it's been a few months since the last time he did something like that. So I am not 100% sure that he's gonna do a great job. And usually when that happens, it's not a terrible job, it is just simple things like we miss a spot here, they seal over a stain, we gotta clean that stain, stuff like that, nothing major. But the problem here is I came to this location, wasted almost hour and a half to 2 hours. I'm not gonna be able to go and inspect the job site at Danny. I still need to go back to check on the sealer job for Benjamin. And that's it. It's 3:30 right now. The day is over. And I don't know about Mark. Like, that's not even considered Mark, because Mark may not even be able to get an answer from me until tomorrow morning when I can go over there. I'm over here at Mark's job site. What he was talking about the spot not being square, it means that this side, that side, and that side are not the same length. But what he's gonna do is he's gonna correct it by doing more mortar on one end. What he was talking about yesterday is that he didn't want to have a lot of mortar coming out this way, because the whole wall of the pool over here is going to be exposed. That way we don't have an odd looking wall. You can see here the chip a lot of this corner over here, And the same thing over here. This is one of the sides that he's gonna have to leave like that. We're gonna have to leave with the spa not being 100% square, because otherwise, what I was talking about yesterday, that you got to make the same correction all the way around. It's like now we gotta do it all the way down, which is gonna be a pain. You can see how he uses these pieces of boards to plumb the wall. He plumbs it and he straights it over here as well. You can see where he used them. He used those boards, plumbs the wall, plaster it, then takes them out, fill in those voids. You can see where all the water line is now perfect. It's all level and straight all the way around. Even the negative edge, he already did it. He already did this, so that way everything is best to do. One thing to consider is this. I just sent him a reminder. I told him to be mindful about this. This spa has two lines. It has a water line and it has a air line. The air line is for the massage therapy jets to kick in with bubbles, with a blower at a higher speed. So in order to keep the water out of that line, there is a loop that we make, and the loop, it's right here in this corner. So I just told him he has to be careful with his nails, because the last thing that we want is finish this pool, the coping, everything is up and running, and then you have air leak, which turns into a water leak right there, and then we have to demo, we have to work on this when the pool is already filled with water. Just, you know, a little something to consider for him, which he may not even know about that loop. There it is. Morning, Mark.
Morning.
Coming back over here. We're working back on this project. We did this staircase. We're gonna put some lights on these steps over here. But I'm over here talking to Luis. I'm gonna show you. This is the front of the house. Oh, buenos días. ¿Cómo estás, Luis? And we're gonna put a piece of glass on top, where from the top of that piece of glass there's gonna be water coming down the glass and then trickling through this stone. And then we have a catch basin over here with two lights. They're gonna be shining up. We have two lights. You can see it right there. 1 and 2 inserts for lights. We did that staircase as well, like I mentioned before. It was a challenging design for them, for something that it'll work for them. We're gonna do the idea is to put rock in between all this. You can see this railing is shorter, but the reason why it's shorter, or that it looks shorter, is because it's sitting on this concrete wall. So ¿qué boles? Bien. Está bien. Se ve muy bien el tuyo.
Ve a ver cómo está el
Sí.
de abajo. ¿Sabes por qué es de que siempre tiene que quedar redondo? Es para que la gente no trabe. Cuando vienen las mujeres así con la...
Una bolsita o algo.
Exactamente, o la bolsa de la chamarra.
Sí.
Mira cómo se ve este acabado.
Sí, es lo que estaba viendo acá. El redondito este así.
Se ve bien diferente, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Mira.
This is where Instagram is. Yeah. Okay, so this is the system that we have. This pole lighting, landscaping lights. We're having an issue with the app, and I'm gonna show that later. we install, I think, about 32 lights, and I'll show that in a minute. And the reason why we have different drivers is because these are two zone, so that means we have 4 zones over here. What means is we have one light, there is a zone, and the next light is zone 2, next light is zone 1. This way we can achieve having multiple colors, one after another one. I don't think pole lighting was the best option for this because we had so much trouble using the app, and these are really expensive. I think these boxes, I think each one is like $600. We have 2, so these 2, that one has 2 zones, they go to the back. This one has 2 zones, they go to the front, and there is a third one with 2 more zones, they go to the front. And then each light, it's about $200 or $180 each fixture. They don't look cheap though. They don't look cheap, but I think they're too expensive. So we have, for instance, zone 1 and this other one, zone 2, and then we have more lights. So in this scenario, the effect that we want to achieve is having this wall to be, for instance, purple and green, and then again purple and green, which it'll look good and nice and cool. But the problem is the app. The app is what's ruining everything, and I'm gonna do a screen recording from my phone to show the problematic situations with this app. So while we opt to solve this, something that I don't really like to do, but in these situations we have to do it. We're just gonna use Gobi lights. And the reason why is because I've used them before. Personally, I like them. Here we have another one. So we have a few for the trees, and then we have another one there, another one there. So overall we have about 32, 33 of these lights. So we're doing a test right now. We're doing a test with Gobi, and I think it's gonna work out better just because of the app and the system. Quality, yes, they look different. Here you can see it. Actually, I'm gonna put it right here next, side by side. This is 2 of these lights cost as much as 6 of these ones, including the transformer and the controller with Wi-Fi and everything in the app. But because Gobi has such a intuitive and flexible app, this is just gonna be a lot better and a lot cheaper. I wish I didn't done this since the beginning, because now I'm gonna have 30 of those lights that I need to use somewhere. You can see here I have them set up right now side by side over there, so we can see at night the effect on the lights. And here you can see the third transformer, the black box right there for pile lighting. We use pile lighting for swimming pool lights. They're phenomenal, really nice. The problem is the operation. We have to use the attendant, which is a controller for the automation of the pool, and that's what makes everything a lot better. For this instance, we could have done that, but the problem is we didn't do the pool, so the pool was already here, and the attendant is pretty expensive. to install just for controlling lights. I suggested them to the homeowners that we can replace their Pentair automation system on the back. The problem is they hated it, so they asked the builder of the house to replace it. So they put a Jandy Aqualink system, and now if we change it, it'll be the third time, and then they'll have to pay for it. So we're going for the best alternative over here, I believe so. By the way, we did this artificial turf for this house. It's a nice contrast. Right now it's January, mid-January. We're at 30, 36, 37 degrees, and it's just, now the problem with the Paul Lighting app is this is our menu on the app, and the problem that we have is, since we have one driver to the right of the house and two drivers to the left of the house controlling two zones each one, the problem is each driver shows as a independent device. And the problem is, if I want to turn one on, then you get prompted this menu, which confuses people, and then you gotta go into the specific color touch 2, and then you gotta turn on the lights. And as we can see, we have the lights, and then we have channel 1, which is our lights on zone number 1, then our channel 2, which is our lights on zone number 2. The problem with this is, if somebody wants to change the other ones, the ones on the back, all those lights on the same color, it's near impossible, because, for instance, the example is right here. We have purple and we have pink. So if I want to put them red, I think that's red, and then I change to channel 1, and I think that's red as well. So, but it's not. It's pinkish. Now it went orange. Now more pink. Now it's a little bit more orange. So it's near impossible. And then not only that, if I want to turn the rest of the lights, I'm going to turn them off so we can see it on the app. I got to go back again, go into this, and then turn them again. And that's the problem that we have with these lights. So the solution was to use the Govee lights, which, what I did is I created a group, and we have a group right here with two devices, which is from the front door, 6 to the right, 6 to the right, 6 to the left. Okay, the cool thing about this is we can select one color for all of this. So for instance, I'm gonna turn them on in a group, turn them on, so we have them all pink. And the cool thing is, since we have them in a group, if I want them blue, I just click blue, and all of them turn the same blue. If I want to have blue, red, I selected those, and I have this effect, which I have blue, red, or blue, pink, whatever color is this, or blue, green. The other nice feature is the Govee scenes, which is right here. So for Christmas, we go to Festival Christmas, and there we have Christmas colors or Christmas lights. For Halloween, we have this purple and orange blinking mode, Halloween B, which is more like a fade in, fade out, whatever this is. And what I'm gonna do is, since they had them in a bluish color, I think I'm gonna do mysterious.